Hello, everybody. This is Gerald Salenti, and it's Wednesday, July 9th, 2025. And we're very, very fortunate and privileged to have with us a man of men. Nobody like him that I know. Maybe if you could tell me you know, I'd like to know. That knows the Constitution and the Bill of Rights than Judge Andrew Napolitano. And each week he writes articles. This one's coming out tomorrow. And it's basically about how they've destroyed our Constitution, our Bill of Rights. And it's nothing more than a dictatorship as I see it. And Judge, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for inviting me, Gerald. It's an empty Wednesday when I'm not with you.
Thank you. You know, Judge, you have an article coming out tomorrow. And again, you go to Judging Freedom. The people he has on, the things that he does, you're not going to find anywhere else. Searching for monsters. Listen to this quote, everybody. America goes not abroad in search of monsters to destroy. She might become the dictatress of the world, but she would no longer be the ruler of her own spirit. John Quincy Adams. In the middle of his term as Secretary of State, the future President John Quincy Adams requested permission to address a joint session of Congress. Such a request is unheard of in modern times. Before I go on, you mean that little boy of nothing, our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio? All right, you're talking about John Quincy Adams, and we got a little boy of nothing, a little gutless clown slime ball. That's our Secretary of State, a little jerk of nothing.
Well, Ritter says that when Mrs. Adelson gave Trump $100 million, she said, "I want you to pick Rubio as your vice president." And Trump said, "No, but I will make him Secretary of State." And then to embarrass and humiliate Rubio, Trump gave all the juicy negotiating assignments with foreign diplomats to his friend Steve Witkoff. So Rubio is not only unqualified, he's miserable in the job. But John Quincy Adams was saying, when you go about the world seeking monsters to slay, you do not spread democracy, you spread violence. And he warned against that because the spirit of war was in the air in Washington, just like it's in the air in Washington today, just like it's in the air in Washington in every generation. And he warned against it. His warning was heeded, not forever, but for at least another generation.
Well, you're right here. In the middle of his term of Secretary of State, as just a joint secretary, such a request is unheard of in modern times. What was on his mind? The United States has just fought Great Britain to a draw in a war of 1812. It was fought almost entirely in Canada. Some historians believe that British began this war to win back their former colonies. Some believe the U.S. began it to seize Canada from Britain. Adams was worried that the cancer of war was spreading yet again throughout the Washington establishment, and he wanted to squelch it. He did so successfully with his argument that offensive foreign wars don't spread liberty, they spread violence.
Right. This is the argument that you make every September at Occupy Peace, where you bring 5 or 6 passionate, well-known people about peace, and this is the argument that we make. I just finished a podcast with Phil Giraldi, who's written a fabulous piece about the $1 trillion defense, in quotes, defense budget. And of course, he argues that it's not a defense budget, it's an offense budget. The biggest recipient is Israel. It is done to enrich the military-industrial complex, and nobody on the planet can name, identify, or justify America's 750 military installations in 80 countries around the globe. Nobody can do that. By the way, Phil sends his regards to you. Every Wednesday, Phil's on with me, and I'm saying, I was just on with Gerald. Today I said, I'm just about to go on with Gerald, and he had a big smile on his face. He's a tough guy. I love him.
We publish his articles virtually every week in the Trends Journal.
Yes.
And no, he's a real man of men. And again, anybody that doesn't know who he is, and you correct me if I'm wrong, he was a former top CIA guy that went into little gutless clown boy, daddy's boy, George W. Bush's office and showed the proof that there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And Bush told him to leave the office. And Phil Giraldi, being the man he he didn't only leave the office, he left the CIA.
It's 100% correct. He is a man of historic magnitude. Whose virtues and his intellect, PhD, University of Chicago, in political philosophy, he is a man whose virtues will be highly regarded by history, but are condemned by the neocons and the people that run the government today. I've been asking everybody this week, in the Donald Trump foreign affairs arena, are the neocons triumphant? Because remember, he condemned neocons, and everybody to a person saying yes. Sadly, yes, the neocons are triumphant. We will be fighting a war in Iran. We are ratcheting up the military supplies to Ukraine. We continue to give Netanyahu whatever he wants, no matter the slaughter, no matter the murders, no matter the genocide. Trump could stop all of it like that, but he seems to be controlled by the neocons. My article, of course, condemns the concept of searching for monsters to destroy, which the Justice Department continues to do. The Justice Department kidnaps people off of foreign streets and has them tried in America. It used to be for crimes committed in America. Now, under legislation signed by Joe Biden, they can kidnap somebody off a foreign street, bring them here, and try them for a crime committed in another country against the other country's laws with no connection to the United States, except that the United States is the good guy, and so it wants to get this guy off the streets. He harmed nobody here. And that happened last week, which is why I wrote the article. A guy I never heard of, a retired general who was the head of military intelligence for Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, was plucked off the streets of Spain, brought here against his will, pled guilty to distributing drugs in Venezuela, not in the United States. Probably the whole thing is a charade. They will use him to provide evidence, true or untrue, who knows, against Maduro, whom they hate, because they want to go about the world looking for monsters to slay.
Oh, you remember Trump wanted to overthrow Maduro. Remember he brought in that little clown boy, Guaido?
Yeah. Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And remember how all of Europe said that Guaido was actually the president?
Right, and Trump's people said it as well. They eventually realized that it was an absurd statement.
Remember when they tried to invade Venezuela from Colombia?
Yep. Remember all of that.
Yep. And
all of this is part of the same mentality. The DOJ kidnapping people off the street because they committed a crime in another country has nothing to do with the U.S. It's part of the same mentality of sending troops to tell other people how to live.
And going back, I'm sorry, go on.
And spending $1 trillion to fund 750 military installations around the world that no single human being can name, identify, or justify.
And as you said, Israel gets a load of the dough. Each year, we, the plantation workers of Slavelandia, send Israel about $4 billion a year. Right?
That does not count the 13 billion the Congress authorized and Biden signed into law, which is still flowing there in military equipment. I would imagine that Netanyahu yesterday said to Trump, I need another 13 billion. He actually needs about $1 trillion. Funny how we throw these numbers around. Because the damage done to Israel in retaliation to Netanyahu's unlawful attack on Iran. Iran's attack was lawful. Retaliation is lawful. The initial attack was unlawful under international law. But Iran's retaliation was far greater than anything the Israelis expected. Israel is a mess right now. 1/3 of Tel Aviv is in ashes because the Iranians, I wish they hadn't given up the war, but they did when Trump asked them to. The Iranians fought back harder than the Israelis ever anticipated.
You know, I know a guy that went to Israel the day before. He was going there for a wedding, and he's Israeli. He went there the day before Israel launched the attack against Iran.
Oh, boy. Did he get out all right?
He finally got out, but he couldn't get out. You know, it took him much longer to get out. But he told me every night they were in bomb shelters.
Wow.
And he said he drove around Tel Aviv and saw massive destruction. And he showed me videos of missiles coming in and explosions.
Yeah.
They had banned them. You were not allowed to send them out in Israel. They've totally banned them. An article just came out today in Haaretz, the Israeli newspaper, how Israel continues to refuse to allow foreign journalists into Gaza. They're hiding the destruction, what really happened.
Right.
And you mentioned Netanyahu being here again. Remember, let's go back to the crap that they were shoving down our throat before Israel attacked Iran. They said that Trump and Netanyahu were at odds. They weren't getting along well. Remember that?
It was a farce.
Total farce. And the United States knew everything that Israel did and was going to do. And I agree that they're going to ramp up this war. Israel has bombed Lebanon just yesterday, bombed more in Syria. They only killed 84 Palestinians yesterday, 124 the day before, but this isn't nothing in the news. Oh, people drowned in Texas. Yeah, that's terrible. That's the news. This other stuff isn't news at all. And I believe this is going to continue to ramp up. And going back to what your article is about how they keep robbing us of our freedom. And when you look at ICE, they're like the SS of Germany in World War II. The way they're dressed up, the masks on their faces, doing whatever they want to do, and you have no right to fight back.
Right. They arrest without warrant and kick you out of the country without due process, and you can't even identify who they are. Who are they? Are they real cops? Are they the people who raided the Capitol on January 6, 2021 that Trump pardoned? Are they criminals? Are they killers? Who the hell are they? You don't know because they have masks on.
And again, by the way, Judge, you know, Elon Musk has come out and he said he wants to have a new America party. Here's the cover of this week's Trends Journal. The time is right for a true America party of we the people. Abolish the Republican, Democratic, political crime syndicate of murderers and thieves. We the people. And he's talking about the rights of we the people. So considering what he's talking about, if he's true in what he's saying, again, it's not like I support Musk or this or that, but I do support a third party and the person in that third party to bring back freedom of we the people is Judge Andrew Napolitano. As I say, there's no one, if anybody could show me, let me know. I'm an open-minded man, of anybody that knows and respects the Constitution and the Bill of Rights more than you do. And that's what we have to do. That's the foundation of a new party. Going back to your article, it's a joke. It's a joke what you wrote about what they're doing. It's a sick joke.
It is sick.
What gangsters are doing, arresting people in foreign countries, what this ICE is doing. Again, whether you're for immigration or against it, this isn't the way to handle it.
Well, that's the way the government is today. I do believe this is going to have a major backlash against Trump because innocent people are being harmed by these tactics. I mean, the very sight of these guys with masks on the street is terrifying. It's un-American.
To see them on horses and everything?
Yes.
I mean, this is like the Gestapo.
Yes. It is like the Gestapo. They've actually deported a couple of Americans because by denying due process, there's no, they'll walk into a factory or a restaurant and say, who speaks Spanish? And arrest them.
I mean, this is beyond the belief. So we need a new third party. Trump came out and said, "Oh, third parties never work." One of my books, Trend Tracking, far better than Megatrends, Time Magazine, 1989. I had forecast there'd be a new third party, and someone like Ross Perot would be it. Ross Perot lost the election. He only got 19% of the vote, which was a lot. And I was in Dallas with John Connolly, who was the governor of Texas at one time, and then former Treasury Secretary. This is 2 weeks before the election. Pat Goodell, who was Jimmy Carter's top pollster, that was the pollster for Perot. Perot was skyrocketing. Rama Fox, that was Larry King's girlfriend. It was John J. Hooker, the guy that got Perot on with Larry King when he announced he was going to run for president. He was skyrocketing in the polls. We're up in Connolly's. This is 2 weeks before the election, up in his suite. And Ross Perot is being interviewed, I think it was by Leslie Stahl on 60 Minutes. And she asked him, how come, you didn't campaign all summer long? He said, well, my daughter was getting married and I didn't want anything to get in touch. And I said to myself, that's the end of his campaign. It went down like that. He was skyrocketing in the polls. Goodell, we could not believe it. He never saw anything like it. Perot killed it. And what I'm saying, again, we only put the data in the Trends Journal. The people are disgusted with both parties. They've lost their faith in this country. They're looking for a new way. And the new way is a new third party that really represents we the people. And Judge Andrew Napolitano is that man. It ain't about Musk. It's not about Musk. If Musk could, again, what's this guy worth? How many billions of dollars?
Probably 150 billion.
150 billion.
A mind-boggling number.
Harris raised $2 billion to lose the campaign. That's chump change. What are you going to take all the money with you? They put this money into a campaign. It could change. And again, everybody, whether you like it, again, as trend forecasters, it's not what you like, what you don't like, what you wish, what you want. It's what is. That guy that won the mayoral campaign for the Democrats in New York City, Mandani, the little boy of nobody, beat Andy Cuomo. The people are looking for a new way. And to me, Judge, you're the new way to bring back the old way of what our country was founded for and founded upon by our founding fathers. So, Judge, thank you for being here. Thank you for all you do. And everybody, go to Judging Freedom. Again, it's like nothing you're ever going to see. And think of the words, Judging Freedom. And think of what Musk came out with. It's about freedom of we the people. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Gerald. A pleasure, my dear friend. All the best.